Hi, my name is Grace De La Rosa, and I'm running for School Board District 2, which covers the beaches all the way to Kernan Blvd. And that is just west of the intracoastal waterways. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share a little bit about my platform and what I will be doing for you and your children. And for those of you that don't have children in the school system, you are paying for the school nonetheless. So, your taxes matter. And I would think that your school board would matter to you as well. Anyways, I hope to be of service to the community. And I am not just a talking head. I really do care about the welfare of our children. I was that child that fell through the cracks of our system. And I want to make sure that we have no more children falling through the cracks. I want to make sure that our children, when they graduate from high school, at the very minimum, is to make sure that each and every one of our children are well equipped and given all of the proper tools necessary to move on to their next phase of life. Each child is going to have their own special and unique journey. Let's support them and not choose to live through them, okay? What do? Let's bring back the foundations that were all taken away over the decades. Ever since the Holocaust, ever since people started recognizing just how easy it is to manipulate human beings, good human beings. Because that's where I'm going. Because that's what's happening to our school system, to our children, and to our adults, our young adults today. Our society has become nothing but a brainwash bowl. And I want to make sure that we deprogram our children and reprogram them back to having a mind of their own. And to bringing back our country to where it is supposed to be. I love our country very much. And I want to make sure that our next leaders are a little bit wiser, are a little more tolerant, are a little bit kinder, and compassionate, and more humanistic than robotic and greedy. And it is incumbent upon us ladies too. We bear the brunt of raising the next leaders of our society. And so if we are not kind to the children that we raise, all we have to do is take a look at our leaders today and realize what can happen again will continue to happen until we might start making the changes that are necessary. Let's do that by making the changes at school. But first, before we do that, we have to know this as uncles, aunts, parents, sisters, brothers of children that are going to school. Be kind to one another. Love one another. No matter how many books you study, you cannot learn the language of love. The only way you can learn that is by feeling. And that is what we have lost in our country. That and the foundations in school. The first and foremost is love, bringing back prayer. Prayer is saying thank you. Thank you for opening the doors for me to study, to learn the things that I do not know today. Prayer is the beginning to kindness. We can all learn to be nice. We can all learn to open the door for somebody whose hands are full. But we cannot teach kindness. Kindness stems from a loving heart. Kindness is love. Prayer back in school. And it is not saying that we're opening the doors to 5 million different religions. It's not about that. It's about giving the opportunity for any person to choose to pray or not. Right now, all we have is not. There is no option to pray. All we have is there is no praying. And in that no praying, there is no choice. I am all about choice. And one thing you will learn about me as a candidate, and then eventually as your servant in the school board or wherever it may be, I'm digressing. But what I'm saying is choice. What you'll realize is I like uniformity. You know, when we say we are all for choice, you cannot wallow in part choice and part not. It's like saying I'm all for banning books or not. I used to hate to have to make that decision, to go either all in for not banning or all in for banning. When I was going through, mass media ethics classes at UNF, I hated thinking about things like that because it made me think, on the one hand, well, would I want to ban KKK books to protect our humans from being hurt, no matter their color? And who am I? Who am I to ban that book? Because in that book of so much hatred sheds light on love. It makes love so much more beautiful when you put those books of hatred next to something of love. Darkness is only an absence of light. And when we teach our children to be light, there shall be no more darkness in our society. All we need is balance of light and dark. And if there's more light than there is dark, well, then we have just won. There will always be dark. There will always be parts to our society that need to be reminded of what love is and what life is. Life is love. It's not words, just words. It's behaviors, it's thoughts. When we teach children, to supersede the default mode network, which is the reptilian ways of living, the prehistoric ways of getting their needs and desires satiated without thinking about the repercussions of the other people and places and things that are connected to that choice. It's time to teach them to do that. And that's what's called learning accountability, which is what's lacking with our leaders today. But I digress. Cursive writing is imperative. It's a lost art. And it is a foundation to America. It's a foundation to our country. The founding fathers created two of the most beautiful documents. The Constitution and then the Declaration of Independence. Both written in cursive. And never mind the thought of, well, we don't have time to teach our children. There's so many more important things to teach the children. Well, you've just superseded the foundations. And if the foundation is not sturdy, everything else you put on top of it will crumble. Everything. And all you have to do is just look around. Look around and see that that doesn't work. It's the problem. People are so in such a hurry that they forget what the foundations are and don't even pay mind to that which they think is not so important. They just keep piling things on. You know, this is such an action-oriented society that we have forgotten that not doing is doing also. I'm a holistic wellness consultant, and I like to say that I integrate Eastern philosophies and practices with Western, technology, science, and medicine. It feeds the foundation of life. Without health, we have no life. And the foundation to the well-being of a child and its understanding of the world around them is to know cursive writing. Cursive writing. It teaches them the beauty. It teaches them beauty. It teaches them patience. It teaches them principle. All that in just cursive writing. Now tell me how unimportant teaching our children cursive writing is again. Thank you. Number 2, vocational education. Not every child will want to go into an occupation that they will need extra schooling outside of high school education. Okay. These will be tools of the trade for those children that become adults that do not want to go to college or need to go to college because their skills, their gifts, their God-given gifts to do what it is that they're doing, their passion will create success for them if we give them the tools, each child the tools necessary to succeed in his or her choice of an occupation. Not just an occupation, but a lifetime of happiness, because they're doing exactly what they've always dreamt of wanting to do. No longer have to continue to train them. They'll be training themselves They'll be so excited about doing what it is that they're doing that they'll want to know how to do it better, all on their own, all without somebody telling them how to do things. The best teachers in the world don't tell their students how to do things. They make suggestions because they know that when they've done their job, their students will be better than them. That is the goal of a teacher, to see their students excel even further than them. And the same can be said about, parents. Parents should want to give their children all that they can, not materialistically, but the opportunities for them to learn how to think even further for themselves, to make them continue to be curious, to have their children continue to come up and go, wow, that's an interesting idea, Dad, or Mom, or Sis. What if? Now that's when the magic happens. When somebody can say, now what if we do this? Then we can see their brains actually start working. Not all are going to be that, but we can treat all children to believe that that is the way to go, right? To flourish. Now, when people reach their point where they're like, this is what I want to do. I love this. I love this. This is it. Go for it. Go for it. Don't tell them that it doesn't pay. Who are you to tell them that they are not going to be multimillionaires because of that passion you've just squandered away by telling them that there's no money in it? Stop already. These are your children, your nieces, your nephews, your grandchildren, your next leaders of tomorrow, folks. You were once children yourselves. You were once children yourselves. Remember what you yearned for. And then look at your children today. Don't give them. It's like what it says in the Bible. You give them the fishing rod and the hook, bait maybe. Teach them how to get the bait. Teach them how to put the bait on the hook. Teach them how to throw that line into the water so that they can fish for themselves. What has happened is, we wanted it so good for our children that we just gave. I'm not speaking for me or you. I'm just speaking in general. Okay? In general. So the other thing I'd like to bring back is the arts. We've lost that for the children, the younger ones in particular. More music, more playtime. So imperative. It's so imperative. When we have geniuses out there, they crave the creative free time. Even though you might see a child looking like they're not doing much of anything, you don't know what's going in their mind. Don't tell them what they're doing in their mind. It might take that child many, many days to come up with something, but when they come up with something, it'll blow your mind. Leave that child to do what they are doing. Now, if they have, developmental issues, that's another thing, but we continue to teach that child just how important they are, just how beautiful that whatever it is that they're offering to us is indeed a gift. Who's to say that their gift to you is their, what you think is their disability? A child was brought into your life for a reason. Might even just be patience. Might even be just patience. And that is a gift. And all from your child, not doing a thing, but just being who he is. Do you see how beautiful that is? If we just look at things a little differently. So that's what I like to bring to our school board. I want to make sure that our children are well taken care of so that they don't continue to feed the wheel of insanity and end up where we're at today. We're not in a good spot today, folks, and you know that just as well as I do. Yes, there are some wonderful things happening, but for the most part, those wonderful things are happening because we were trying to get rid of the things that are still continuing to happen today that are not very, very mindful of the well-being of our society. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. Finally, I'd like to make sure that that we provide our children an opportunity throughout their years to start really learning the difference between toxic and non-toxic relationships. That can really help out a lot as they continue to progress in their development as human beings and as future leaders of our country. We're going to have this country back in full swing again on a healthy swing. Right now, we're kind of sick. That's no surprise. And as our children progress, they will start getting healthier. They will start getting healthier if you vote for the people that you really feel in your heart of hearts, who can actually make a difference if you vote them in. You have that power. You tell other people, hey, this woman or this man believes in this, and this. Now, here's the difference, okay, between what you did yesterday and what you're going to do today with your voting. Vote from your heart. Don't vote for what things look like on the outside. Vote with your heart. You will feel it from that candidate. You will feel it. Words are words. They're empty unless you feel them. Feel them. That's the difference. And that's not what is taught in school. And there's a reason for that. And that's why play and music and art are so important. You know, they say trust your gut. That is feeling and knowing. Not just having knowledge of, but knowing, experiencing. That's going to be the huge difference in these next few years, hopefully these next few generations. You know, when we talk about making a change and creating change, not just in our own backyard, but in our country, and not just in our country, but in the world at large. They say, start with one person and you start with yourself. You start with yourself, but you think it's for you. It is not. It is for the whole. It is for the rest of us and all of us. Why? Think about us making a link with one another. If we were to hold one another so that one person over there can grab the person that has fallen. If the person behind me is weak, they cannot hold me, and then we'll lose traction and we'll lose the very people that we're trying to help. Excuse me. Everything is connected to everything else. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. So when we have strong, healthy children, and we have strong, healthy adults, We have strong, healthy leaders. Right now, our leaders are not so healthy. Our world has become, he said, she said, our world has become divisive, divisive and divided, dividedly, divisively divided. And that was programmed. No more, no more. The school board position, by the way, is nonpartisan. Besides, children have no idea. They have no, they could care less about left or right. They just want to be treated right and respectfully as little human beings. Children to be kicked around, tossed around, and set aside and used as pawns for your wants and needs. These are children, that will be adults. So we treat them as individual humans. Little humans who are so darn cute and extremely intelligent, extremely intuitive. What happened to our generation was they wiped that all away. They made sure of it. They were afraid of this day to happen. But because this is destiny, it will happen. Leadership will change and the world will become right again. Leadership will change and the world will be right again. Grace De La Rosa, District 2 for School Board. Thank you so much.